if this is from the 1950s and I just ate 70-year-old food.
The next episode of How was Mom doing in the hospital?
These are 10 foods that you need to stockpile that never expire. Guys, these are the foods that I keep on hand all the time. Do not stockpile foods that you're not going to normally use. Make sure you normally use these things. The first thing is canned foods. Guys, basically canned foods don't expire. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years, depending on the foods, but canned foods basically don't expire. Your fruits and your vegetables can go 20 years easy. Your meats, I probably wouldn't go past 8 to 10 years. Your things like bouillon, stock, which is nothing but a bunch of chemicals anyway. It's not actually real bouillon. You guys do know that, right? That the boxes of bouillon and the cans of bouillon aren't real bouillon. It's just bouillon flavoring. That's why the next thing that I stockpile is the bouillon cubes. Those never expire. I use that. I never buy the cans of bouillon or the boxes of bouillon. I never buy those unless it's just for a business video. Personally, I never ever use those. Never use them because I just use the bouillon cubes. I just do. Now you can make your own chicken stock and vegetable stock and beef stock out of bones and scraps if you want also. And a lot of people do that. If you need a recipe for that, our Dining on a Dime cookbooks, Volume 1 and 2 have recipes for those and the soups to use them. By the way, guys, Black Friday sale right now, they're 40% off for our Black Friday sale. The link is in the description below. But I never buy the boxes of bouillon or the cans of bouillon. But if you get the cans of bouillon, those will last 15, 20 years. The expiration date is just a best buy date. It doesn't mean it's spoiled. Now, along with that, if your cans are bulging, dented, any of that, do not use them. If they're dented but not bulging, you might be able to use it. Just open it up, smell it, taste it. If it tastes and smells fine, then you can probably use it. But if it's bulging, that means it's unsafe. That bacteria is growing in there, causing gases that makes it bulge. So you do not want to eat food that is in cans that has a bulging can that looks like this, okay? The next thing is instant coffee, regular coffee. Coffee beans last forever, but instant coffee lasts forever. You don't have to brew it. You can just add some hot water. My grandma, this was all the coffee my grandma drank for years. I mean, probably 50 years. Instant coffee was all she drank. Instant coffee is a very easy way to make coffee in an emergency. So I would always keep some instant coffee on hand in your stockpile because it doesn't expire either. The next thing is hard candies. You're like, Tara, what do I want candy for? Listen, if you're sick and you have a cough and it's an emergency, you want some hard candy. I got these candies, 25 cents a bag after Christmas, and these peppermints are never gonna go bad. They just don't. Sugar is a preservative, and so things like hard candy just basically never expire. You could melt these in some tea or hot chocolate if you wanted and make yourself a mint tea, but they are excellent in place of cough drops, or if you're upset to your stomach, peppermint is really helpful for that. Now, other regular hard candies are good for coughs and keeping your mouth from getting dry. So I would have some of those on hand and they never expire. I'm going to interrupt this video real quick to say our Dining on a Dime cookbooks are on sale right now, up to 50% off for our Black Friday sale, guys. Our ebooks are 50% off and our print books are 40% off. This only happens twice a year. Easy recipes to get you in and out of the kitchen quick with ingredients that are inexpensive, cheap, cheap, cheap. You do not have to spend a lot on your grocery bill. Even now, with grocery prices as high as they are, you do not have to spend a lot on your grocery bill. Also, our print books make excellent gifts. So people always buy them at Christmas to give as gifts for newlyweds, college students, people who are just learning how to cook, women who have decided they want to be a stay-at-home mom and need to save money. So they give them their cookbooks and they learn how to start cooking these meals at home so they're not eating out all the time. Livingonadime.com in the description below. Get our Black Friday sale. It only happens twice a year. Living on a Dime is where you can get them. Now to my next tip. The next thing is sugar drink mixes. And you're like, Tara, why would you waste money on that? Because if you're sick and you need to hydrate and you can't keep water down, sometimes people can keep down your lemonade, your Kool-Aid, your energy drinks, and that will help you rehydrate. You know, think of a popsicle. It's like, you know, a liquid popsicle. That will help you rehydrate if you can't keep water down. Honey never expires. If it crystallizes, here's how you fix it. Honey that's gotten crystallized, I'm just going to stick it in the boiling water. It just takes a couple of minutes for it to dissolve. Okay, you can see my honey's all melted. And now, see, all the crystals are even off the side. And now I can go use it again. There's my little thing that to keep it from getting all over. I just store it right here in my cabinet, and there's my honey. No mess. You can see it's super easy. Do not worry if honey is crystallized. It is not bad. It just means that the sugar crystals have formed in there, and you just need to remelt them back down again. It's not bad or anything like that. I have this honey here. Look at this expiration date. I have this box of honey that I just pulled out, but look at this right here. Best by 6/17/14. So this is 10 years past the expiration date. So I've probably had this honey 16 or 18 years. But it's crystallized. So we're just going to decrystallize it and use it and just replace it with some fresh. So my son said, Mom, you need to explain to them that honey doesn't go bad. Really, honey can be 20, 30 years past the expiration date. I mean, really, it just never goes bad. It just doesn't. It just turns to sugar crystals. And then when you decrystallize it, then you have regular honey again. So what I do is I microwave in 10-second increments. And then at first, I just kind of squeeze the bottle like this to get the heat going around. You don't want to melt your bottle, so you got to do this really slow. And so then I just do 10-second increments until I can get it back to a liquid state. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to microwave this whole thing and get it all redone. Now, people are going to holler, oh, you're killing the enzymes, you're killing the enzymes. Listen, it's already been pasteurized. This is not raw honey. I don't eat raw honey or raw milk. So it's not going to hurt anything. All right, I think that's thin enough now to go ahead and pour through. Is it pouring through? Yes, it is pouring through. Yay, it worked. Is that not crazy? 10 years I've had this honey and it's expired 10 years ago, but I'm using it right now. It's perfectly fine. Nothing's happening. Just have to reheat it up so the crystals go back to honey and it's fine. Corn syrup is another thing that does not expire. I know you guys think we're crazy, but here's the thing. In an emergency situation, you're going to need the energy from sugar. If you're having to go out and shovel snow, cut down trees, move branches, move houses like in Helene where it was just devastation, those guys need the calories to have the energy to keep going. And I know that sounds crazy, but some corn syrup mixed with peanut butter on some crackers is an excellent snack or lunch. Give them lots of energy. All those items can be in your stockpile so that if you need them, you have them. The next thing is alcohol. Yes, I'm actually recommending that you buy booze. As a good born and bred Baptist, I do not believe in drinking on a regular basis. I have no problems if you want to have one drink now and then. I do have a problem if you want to get drunk, but that's a whole nother story. But alcohol, you should have alcohol on hand. Why? If you need it for medical purposes, if you're going to have to stitch somebody up, you don't have anything to, deaden the wound area, they may want a few drinks to help them get through that. It also is a disinfectant, and it can help with coughs. Once again, you guys can tell we have one son that when he gets a cough, oh my goodness, I am not exaggerating when I say it is 8 to 12 weeks of non-stop coughing. And he has been like this his entire life, and it is miserable for him. It makes him very sore from coughing. Thankfully, so far he hasn't cracked a rib, but it's very possible that you could. So you want to stop that coughing, and alcohol is a great way to stop coughing because it relaxes those muscles in your throat so you're not coughing so hard. The next thing is maple syrup. It lasts forever also. Is another great sweetener. High in calories. Everyone says how maple syrup is so good, but guys, it's super high in calories. So stays a long time, doesn't go bad for a long time, is high in calories, and basically you can use it for anything to sweeten your oatmeal, your cream of wheat, on toast, whatever you want. You can use it as a sweetener. You could even use it in your coffee or tea if you needed to. The next thing is these number 10 cans of prepper food. Now, this is not something I would buy at first. I would buy your regular foods first. I don't prep with these number 10 cans. I prep with regular food, and I eat my rotating pantry first, that stuff in my pantry, and then I just have these number 10 cans as an extra bonus. Of butter is my big one. The freeze-dried tomato, those are a couple of things that I get. I don't get like the strawberries or anything like that. They taste really good, but I just get the canned fruit and all of that. So it's mostly my butter and my dried tomato is what I get in the freeze-dried cans, because those are easier to use and you can use them quickly. Here's the other thing with the number 10 cans is when you go to open them, you have to use it all. And this makes a lot. So that's why I don't stockpile a huge amount on these. But the ones I do stockpile, they'll last 20 years and you will be fine to use those. I even found number 10 cans at a garage sale. I paid $10 for all 4 of these. So I'm gonna test it. It's 40-year-old food. Should I test it? I'm gonna test it. Let's see what happens. Bouillon powder, beef TVP. Do you know what TVP is?
No.
Textured vegetable protein.
Oh.
We have dried chopped onions and unflavored TVP. Completely cover 1 cup of dices with water or bouillon to add flavor and simmer for 15 minutes to reconstitute. Use as cooked meat. Look at, here's a price tag. You can barely see it, $4.80.
I can hardly see it
You
on
can
the
hardly
camera.
see it, but it says $4.80 right there. But this now, I don't know what the price is, but I bet it's like $30 now.
Oh, probably.
At least. Okay, so should I try 1 or 2 or 3? Should I do it? This has got to be from the 80s. So let's see. This is the dried onions. So let's see. No peeling, chopping, using soups. The equivalent 2 number 10 cans of diced chopped onions will give the same onion flavor and bulk after cooking as onions prepared from a 50-pound bag. So this is 25 pounds of onions. So 1 cup is 1 pound of onions. Okay, should I try the onions? Oh, look at here,
Sure.
$8.20.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, and I couldn't find a date at all. I looked and looked for dates and I couldn't find any dates, but it's got to be around the 80s. Oh, you know what? I'll do a Google search. Okay, I have no idea if this is true or not, but I searched this one here and it said it was from the 1950s. Oh my goodness. If this is from the 1950s and I just ate 70-year-old food, I don't know. How old do you guys think this stuff actually is? Is this 70 years old? Oh my goodness, that would be crazy. Okay, so what kind of food did you think it was? I bet you're right.
I think it's bomb shelter food from the 50s.
I think
The
you're
whole
right.
Nuclear war, or build a bomb shelter in your basement kind of thing.
Oh, I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Those crazy preppers.
I know. As I was editing this, I just had to jump in and say something that I noticed. So, as I was looking at the prices on these cans, this consommé was $13.24, and then the TVP was $4.80, and the chopped onions were $8.20. Wow. That seems really expensive for the 1950s, like really expensive. I thought, oh, surely it can't be that expensive. But the consommé that was $13.24, if you were to translate that now, it would be, if you were to inflate that now I didn't do 1950s prices because I didn't know when in 1950, so I did 1960, but it would have cost $141.20 now for the same product, but you got 10, little over 10, I think it was like 14 ounces or something like that, more back then than you do now. So for the $13.24, now it would have cost $141.20, and you can get that same product except more in there for $18.98. The onions would have cost $8.20 back then, would have been $87.45. You can get those today for the same exact thing for $24. And then the TVP that was $4.80, now that would be $51.19, and you can get the same exact thing for $16. So what is my point with all of that? Everyone keeps hollering about the price of food. Yes, I know since Biden has taken office, groceries have gone up about 20%. I get that. But as Americans, we have to keep our priorities straight. Americans really are messed up when it comes to their priorities. And I saw this meme and it describes it exactly. It says, we buy our wants and then we beg for our needs. That is so true. People complain and complain and complain and complain about the price of groceries while they're getting their fingernails done, while they're filling up the gas tank to their SUV and they only have 2 kids. It's fine if you have an SUV and you're hauling around 5 to 10 kids or however many, you know, if you're a large family or you haul friends a lot or something, I could see having an SUV in that situation. But I know so many moms who have 2 kids and they drive this huge Tahoe, huge Suburban, and they're complaining about the price of groceries. When it comes to stockpiling and filling your pantry, it is not about the price. It's about prioritizing your needs. And go along with that, everyone hollers about, oh, you're going to eat expired food. Oh, that's just gross. Well, yeah, sometimes food can get gross. If your cans are messed up, if they're bulging, if they're dented, whatever. Yes, your oily foods like peanut butter, cooking oils, Those types of foods can get rancid and go bad. Your flour can go bad quicker, but there are a lot of foods, the majority, I would say probably 85% of your foods, you can eat well past the expiration date. And it is just flat out wasteful to not eat the expired food that is perfectly fine. If it's just awful, of course, don't eat it. I mean, if your peanut butter's gone bad, don't eat it if it's a year past the expiration date and you can't eat anymore. I get that. But a can of corn that's 5, 6, 10 years past the date is probably just fine. And that's where you are buying your wants and then you're begging for your needs. As Americans, we really have to get how cheap our food is. Our food is probably cheaper than 95% of the world. We have some of the cheapest groceries in the world. When you compare how much we pay for groceries compared to how much income we bring in. Yeah, food might be cheaper in India or the Philippines or Honduras, but they also earn $5 a week, whatever amount of money. I don't know how much they earn there, but you know what I'm saying. And so as Americans, we really need to get a grip on prices and realize 99% of the people in America can afford basic food if they want to. It's their wants they're paying for, not their needs. And food was way more expensive 70 years ago, and we need to stop complaining about the price of food if we're not going to cut back on things like a car, nails, kids' sports, all those, clothes, all those things we want, but we don't really need. Oh, it smells oniony.
Ooh, does it?
Okay, here we go. Well, that's kind of anticlimactic.
Well,
it looks like onions.
These onions are more than twice as old as you, Jack.
Yeah.
Onions are twice as old as Jack.
They're more than double his age.
Probably about 3 times.
His age. Oh my. Let's see. Onions will reconstitute in, cover with water and soak for 20 minutes. Oh my goodness, gotta wait 20 minutes for that? Okay, which should I open them all? I guess I'll open them all. What else am I gonna do with
Make
them?
some chicken curry with the onions and the bouillon.
Oh, that stinks.
Ooh, this is the beef TVP?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it probably smells like TVP. Okay, so I forgot to mention, but I found all of these, 4 of these, at a garage sale for $10 for all of 4 of them. And he said he thought they were from the late 70s, 80s. Okay, should I open the bouillon?
Sure.
I feel like I'm opening a grave or something. It's been so long.
So I feel like the dried stuff probably isn't bad. Don't you think?
Well, it shouldn't. I mean, they say it lasts forever.
Considering it's dried and canned.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, I wouldn't still eat it, but...
I wonder if it's supposed to be that color.
It smells like bouillon.
Wonder what all these brown dots are. It's not rusted or anything. Okay, so for this, it says, can you show the front? Let's see, it says, to make 4.5 gallons of jellied chicken. Oh my goodness. Dissolve this mix in 4.5 gallons of boiling water. This is instantly soluble in boiling water. Okay, for flavoring. To make 30 gallons of delicious consomme. Do you want to make 30 gallons of consomme? That's like a soup. Okay, so 1 tablespoon to 1 quart of hot boiling. Okay, so let's
For
do
small servings.
that. Okay.
Interesting
so
times.
Here's my pan, and I'm gonna add my onions and let those start boiling. I don't know, I'm just guessing here. Okay, I'm gonna get those on the oven boiling. Okay, so here is my water. Do I want to try this broth and see? Oh dear. Let's see. Okay, is it gonna dissolve?
Is it hot water?
Yeah, it's boiling.
Oh, that smells nasty, man. I guess it just smells like bouillon.
I guess. Okay, should I taste it?
It's probably going to be real diluted.
Okay, here we go. Just tastes like chicken bouillon. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that actually tastes pretty good. Okay, well, we're gonna take our TVP and our onions, and we're gonna get these rehydrated, and we'll come back. And then I'll taste test those and maybe end up in the hospital for Thanksgiving. Okay, here's the reconstituted onions. All right.
Yummy.
Am I brave enough to do this, Jack?
No.
I'm afraid. Do I try it or do I not? Well, they don't really have any taste. They smell like onions, don't they?
Yeah, they smell like onions.
They don't really have any taste. Okay.
Huh.
So here's the textured vegetable protein. So basically this is soy pellets made to taste like hamburger.
Huh.
Do you want to try it?
Not really. I think that's what you're here for.
Where's your sensitive venture, son? I don't know if I can do it.
Here, maybe I could try and eat the suspicious.
Do I try it? Okay, I'm not swallowing this, guys, in case I get food poisoning. I just can't do that. But that doesn't really have any taste either. You want to try a bite?
Sure. Why not?
You want to spit it out? What do you
It's
think?
not horrible. Actually,
It doesn't really
it
have
tastes
a
like
taste.
beef.
You think?
Yeah, it tastes like beef. I mean, it tastes like slightly weird beef, but I assume that's just the fact that it's not actually beef.
The fact that it's 40 years old and it's not actually beef.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see if I'm dead in 3 days. Actually, I didn't actually swallow anything.
Join us in the next episode of How is Mom Doing in the Hospital?
If you guys want to know what else you need to stockpile, but you never think of these things, then go watch this video next.